Welcome back to Introduction to Engineering Design. And today we're going to look at a tool that allows you to bring something like a logo or another graphically based design into your sketch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new sketch. And I've already selected my sketch tool and I'm going to choose the top plane. Again, it's not real important where you're going to sketch. But what I want to do is I want to try and import a picture. So as I look at a few of my pictures here, and I'll pull it up on my other screen and then show you this. So I've got an outline, a basic outline for a Batman picture or a Batman symbol. That has the Superman logo in the middle. And really what I'm interested in is I'm interested in the Batman outline. So what I'm going to do is open this up and show you this. So I've got this image here, and it's not real high quality either by any stretch of the imagination. You can see it's all pixelated. But how do I get this overall design, this layout right here, this shape, into my model? And one of the ways that I can do that is using a tool, and what I can do here, it's called a sketch tool, and the sketch tool is sketch picture. So again, the way that I got there is I went to tools, sketch tools, and sketch picture. Once I do sketch picture, it asks me to find the file that I'm looking for here, and I think it was Superman 1. It's a Superman Batman logo. And I open that and drag it in. So I'm not real worried about the scale of this right now because I'll establish the scale. But as I zoom in and out, you can see that I can place this anywhere in the picture, and I'm just going to drop it anywhere. I don't care right now. So I've put the sketch picture in. Now, if I have an add-in loaded that's called auto trace, I can now trace this. So I'll show you how to check your add-ins and be sure that that's in there. But I've got the auto trace add-in loaded. So now what I'll do here is I'll just go next, and I'm going to select an area to trace. So I'm going to choose my overall, I didn't do a very good job of selecting that. Try that again. I'm going to choose my overall shape here. So I'm going to choose a square box, and I want to trace the outline of this overall object right here. And a little bit finicky. Select my area. And now I click on this Begin Trace button. Begin Trace button. Now I can fiddle around with the image and try and make it look brighter or darker or do different things. This has enough contrast, so it should trace pretty readily here. I can also select how much tolerance I have, greater or less tolerance for deviation as it begins its auto trace. But now you see it picked up the overall shape when I clicked Begin Trace. So interesting. So that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now, once I accept that sketch picture, I now have a trace of the underlying picture. So let me do this. I can get rid of the picture itself, and you see now I've got my trace of my object. So I'm going to edit my sketch here, go back in, and that's not too bad. But you'll notice that it's not necessarily that symmetrical, and it's not that cleaned up, and it makes a series of splines. So here's a spline, another spline, another spline, and straight lines. So if I really wanted to make this thing accurate, what I would do is I would mirror it. So I'm going to start that right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line, a center line in fact, straight up. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to choose the center point of this center line and make these two so that they're coincident. So now I'm close to symmetrical, but now what I'll do is I will trim away 1/2 of this image using my power trim tool. Now I did that because I really want to also trim this away here and delete that line and put a new line in. Because what I really want to do is make it symmetrical, and I'm going to do that with a sketch mirror here. Quite a bit more effective manner. So now, if I want to edit this and maybe make the wing a little bit more aggressive and evil looking and maybe drag these points down, I can certainly do that and edit this. Now what I can also start to do now is give some dimensions to this. And if I wanted to make this on, let's say I was going to use this as a spinner design and I had a total 80mm distance, I could say that the longest area of this particular sketch is right here. And my first dimension will define the scale on it. So I'm going to make that 80mm. Whoops. I actually want to make that 40mm. Half the distance. Let me undo my sketch dimension here twice and redo that. Set my first scale here. There we go. So now I'm 40mm, and while I'm at that, I'm going to change to millimeters, grams, and seconds in my sketch, and you'll see my sketch is woefully underdefined. Now, to define this, what I really want to do is I want to place this sketch objects so that this midpoint is at the midpoint of my origin, and that'll give me some nice symmetry. Before I do that, though, let me fully define the sketch. So let's start to get some dimensions out of this sketch, and I'm just going to start to dimension top to bottom here, and I'm going to accept what it takes for the most part. I'll make this 34mm. Because I like the artistry of this overall object. Make that 5.5mm. And then I need to pretty much give a location to each one of these objects. 31. 33. And I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit. All right, looks reasonably decent. I'll give some elevation points to this. Oh, I've already done that one, sorry. Actually have to give some distances over. All right, so it's stable enough now so that I can move the whole thing. So I'm going to select the entire sketch. And what I'm going to do is drag this down here. And now I'll choose the midpoint and place that over the origin. Now you see it's slowly defining here, and I'm not going to go through and fully define the sketch. You could do that. You're going to need to do some work on the spline, give it a total length, some other things associated with the spline, like where the handles are, which I talk about in another video, but I'm not going to do that for this exercise. But what I have done is I've made half of my image. So now what I'll do is mirror my entities. Easiest way to mirror them, just select everything in the drawing, and then choose my mirror line. And now you'll see what I've done is I've essentially made that little Batman looking shape. Batman/Superman. So from this sketch, it's not fully defined, and I would encourage you to fully define your sketch and explore that, but from this shape, what I can now do is I can now do things like extrude that, choose my body, choose a midplane extrusion. I'm going to make mine 7 millimeters, the thickness of a bearing. Accept that. And I could do other interesting things to try and make this more Batman-like. So as an example, perhaps put a chamfer. And I'll make it a point, let me make it a 5 millimeter chamfer on this edge. It's a little steep, so let me make it about a 3 millimeter. And a 3 millimeter. Top and the bottom, let's take a look at how that looks. And now I've got that edge, that Batman-like edge. And I can continue to put that chamfer on the other side as well. And I could have done that before I mirrored it also. So there's lots of different ways that you can do this. I don't really want it applied to that face though. I want it applied to these edges. And I'll stop here in just a second because I've got the brunt of what I wanted to show you, which was how do you import a picture and base a sketch off that picture. And that's how we do it. So remember that tool is in Tools, Sketch Tools, and if you're in a sketch, the sketch picture right there will be available to you. All right, thanks for watching.